Okay, so this little clip is about ecological islands. And so let's start off here. We're on a little chunk of rock. Looks like some water around us. I don't know what's behind us over there, but there's some more water. And there's this very, very appealing looking mountainside off in the distance, and I think I'd like to go there. Oh yeah, there's a jet ski, or motorcycle as they label it in the far north. While we're headed out, let's take a look back and see. Oh yeah, so we were on a little island. We're kind of familiar with those types of chunks of rock sticking out of the water, and now we're on over here on the sort of lower parts of this cliffside, which looks very interesting. Let's get a little bit closer. And I'm going to try to find a way to get up there. Whoa, what's this? Ah, why? Surprisingly, it's a cave. Now, since we're talking about ecological islands, let's take a look at this cave. And the thing is, with ecological islands, they're geographic locations that are isolated from their surroundings based on different physical circumstances, different physical settings. So in this cave, the cave is isolated. This open space inside the rock of the mountain is isolated from other places. And it looks like we've got some very unusual specimens. It looks like bioluminescent mushrooms here. And that's the thing that's what's interesting about ecological islands, is that they often are homes to very, very unusual species that normally wouldn't find out in the, let's say, outside here. Oh, and even so. So ecological islands are interesting biologically because they are isolated, and because the creatures that live inside those isolated places sometimes have very unusual and bizarre characteristics, like these little guys walking around here. Alright, so a cave is an ecological island. I'm getting a little bit creeped out. I think I'd like to get out of here. Thank goodness there's bioluminescent mushrooms, and there's the opening. I can see that, so let's head out toward that. I'm really tired of the dark. I want it to be sunny again, please. Thank you. So let's climb up. I want to get up on top, because there was this big cliff, and so I'm very curious about what's on top of that cliff. And it turns out that the cliff is hard to scale, so I have to exert some effort. And this is another feature of ecological islands, is that the reason they're isolated is because it's very, very difficult to get to them, especially for animals that are crawling or walking animals like me. So I'm going to make my way up to the top, hopefully get to the top, and then we'll take a look around and see if there's something interesting up here. So that's where we were. That was our island, which is also an ecological island. We started off there. We took a little jet ski to the beach, and it went into the cave, and now we're up on top of the cliff. Aha! So here's something very interesting. It looks like a depression in the land. Let's get a closer look. Yeah, it's like a big canyon with no outlet. So it's just a big hole in the rocks. So normally you would have a canyon that has an opening, because oftentimes canyons are created by rivers flowing through them, but this has no opening. So that canyon would be considered an ecological island. But I really want to go up top. You can see that peak up in the clouds. Let's take this quad racer. about it. So, whoop, where are you going? It'll be okay. So let's climb up this peak. I want to see what's up top here. Or maybe there's some interesting things along the way. I'm not seeing any. I should just see rock right now. But I'm interested to see what might be up on top of this peak in the shrouds. I mean, it's encased by clouds up at super high elevation. You can see it's now starting to get foggy as we climb up. Getting a little chillier too, a little cooler, I noticed. I've really been climbing a lot since I hit the beach, literally hit it with the jet ski, because I wasn't watching where I was going. Ah, here we are now. And it's now raining. So we have our own weather up here. And so we have this isolated peak way up high in high elevation, so high that its weather is also kind of very, very different from the weather down below, down there as you can see. So we're very high up. It's cooler up here, it's wetter up here, and take a look, we've got unique species up here that we did not see down below, and which is a feature that makes ecological islands interesting. You get up these places that are isolated, the species tend to be genetically isolated as well. And so genetic changes that happen among species in these places those genetic changes tend to stay. Well, it's kind of cold. I want to get out of here. Let's go. Well, as I glide down, you can see there's another ecological island down below us. To you, it looks like a pond or a lake, but it is also an ecological island because the species that live in the water there, let's take a look. The species that live in the water there, like fish, you might be able to see some fish swim by, they're stuck in this water. So they can't just, like us, animals, like land-dwelling, walking animals like humans, mammals, and stuff, we can swim through the water and we can crawl out. But the fish and other aquatic insects and so on that live here, they're isolated. They can't just crawl out and go someplace else. So that makes this, because of that isolation and because the species that live there, they can't just go, crawling about. That makes this an ecological island. So ecological islands are interesting biologically. They're interesting geologically and geographically as well. But the reason I bring them up is because their isolation is a spot where you find very, very interesting species.